Hey, it's Jefferson Graham. This is the PhotoWalks TV podcast, the audio companion to the video series, which you can watch on YouTube, youtube.com/PhotoWalksTV. Today, we are talking about Santa Fe, New Mexico, and the art of photographing one of my all-time favorite cities in the world, in one of my favorite states, because how many states can you visit that has the oldest church in the country, the oldest state capital, and the only one in a totally round building? Well, that's New Mexico. That's Santa Fe right there. Plus, if you head a little north and go to Taos, there's a Native American reservation that's been operating continuously for over 1,000 years. And amazing food everywhere you look. That's New Mexico. My greatest muse for photography, one that brings me back year after year. The great photographer Ansel Adams couldn't get enough of the land of enchantment, and neither could painter Georgia O'Keeffe. And if it was good enough for them, it's Jake with me. Adobe buildings everywhere you look. That old church that's over 400 years old. And what's billed as the oldest building in continuous use, the Palace of the Governors, which also tops 400 years. Those are in Santa Fe. Outside of Santa Fe, you got the yearly bird migration in Bosque del Apache that brings hundreds of photographers every December to capture the tens of thousands of snow geese doing their annual blast-off after sunrise. There's a town devoted to nothing but pie, Pie Town. The majestic White Sands National Park, a kitschy ode to aliens called Roswell, and of course the Four Corners and Monument Valley, a sight seen in so many westerns. I can't think of a state with so many photo ops. Now, sure, California has the Golden Gate Bridge and Big Sur. Nevada has the craziness of Las Vegas. Utah has the great national parks like Zion, Bryce, and Arches. Oregon, the rocky, dramatic coast. Illinois and New York have their Chicago and New York skylines and such great opportunities for street photography. But can you get blue corn enchiladas there? Or cornbread with green chili? I don't think so. Let's talk photographing Santa Fe. Resident Noah Lopez told me that Santa Fe was like a theme park experience of Adobes everywhere you look, along with great art, historic churches, the USA's oldest state capital, museums, amazing food, chilies hanging everywhere you look, and more. To photographer Nevada Weir, it's simply the inspiration. Quote, "It's an art town," she told me. You come here for the air and the art. You're breathing in this fantastic 7,000 feet rarefied air, and then everywhere you look, on every street, there's some form of art. So they call Santa Fe the city different. Why does it get that moniker? We'll try a city formed by a mix of so many different cultures like Spanish, Mexican, Indigenous, and Wild West. If you've watched the TV shows Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, you know that the co-star of the shows are the rich desert landscape of New Mexico. The shows were produced in Albuquerque, about an hour away, but they've occasionally ventured north to Santa Fe, most notably when Bob Odenkirk's character Jimmy took a job he hated in the capital city. Most old New Mexican towns were built around a town plaza where Native Americans traded goods. The plaza is still the center of town, and most of it is shops selling either curios or high-end clothing. Photo ops in the Santa Fe Plaza aren't great. However, if you'd like to see some amazing churches, St. Francis is one block up from the plaza, and it's a delight. But the big two you want to visit are down a few side streets. Loretto Chapel is home to the miraculous staircase, a 20-foot round staircase that is somehow held up without suspension. Pro tip, get here really early before the crowds. My favorite shot here actually was the ceiling. And for that, I lay on my back and just look straight up with my phone on its widest angle. Meanwhile, that oldest church dating back to the 1600s is the San Miguel Mission. The interior is nice, but I fell in love with the classic adobe building exterior. I'm no Ansel Adams, but I went black and white, and I felt like I was channeling the master. For sunsets, go up a few blocks from St. Francis to the Cross of the Martyrs. It's a little park on top of the town. It's just northeast of the plaza, has the best view looking down at the city. The other great spot is at the rooftop deck of La Fonda, a 100-year-old hotel that dominates the plaza. The Capitol building is just a few blocks away as well. How can you not want to see a round state house? Like at San Miguel, I fell in love with the dome and got that shot by laying on my back and looking up. Where to stay? Well, we loved our location when we visited just a few blocks from the plaza at the Santa Fe Inn and Motel on Cerrillos Road. The rooms were nicely Southwest decorated and comfy, and again, the location can't be beat. There's not a lot of parking in the plaza, and besides, you see so much more when you walk. Further down the road, but too far away to stroll to the plaza, is the El Rey Court, a 1950s-style motor court that suits my taste to a T. You expect to see Thunderbirds and convertible Mustangs parked in front of the rooms. Where to eat? Where not to? Any place you visit is going to have some of the best New Mexican fare you've ever experienced in your life. Now, we particularly love the home cooking at Casa Chamayo, where we shared the blue corn huarache plate and had a long chat with the Quintanas, the owner's chefs, about New Mexico food and why it's so special. Quote, "You go to Paris for wine, you come to New Mexico for chilies," Benina said. Two other restaurants we really like. The Plaza Cafe, right there on the plaza, is another classic, the oldest restaurant in Santa Fe, circa 1905. I had a terrific plate of blue corn enchiladas, and Ruth, my wife, had a tortilla burger at the pantry. The other big highlight was Cafe Pascual's, where Ruth enjoyed mole-topped chicken enchilada plate, and I was satisfied with a plate of amazing cornbread with green chilies and corn. It was so great, I'd drive back over again tomorrow just for the cornbread. What to do? Well, how about walking around and photograph, Move those legs and find yourself surrounded by inspiring adobe buildings, great art, the smells, the light. I mean, wow, huh? To my pal Scott Bourne, who I spent time with at Bosque del Apache photographing birds, his highlight is the Georgia O'Keeffe Museum and seeing the amazing work of the former New Mexico resident in one place. For Ruth, it's just the food culture. While my stomach remembers the cornbread, of course, for me, highlights are going to be photographic. Walking up the hill to the Martyrs of the Cross for sunset, arriving early to photograph the Miracle Staircase at Loretto Chapel before the crowds arrived, lying on my back on the floor and looking up to capture the entire dome of the state capitol. Yes to all, but my highlight is pretty simple. Just being in Santa Fe, seeing, smelling, experiencing the city different streets, and snapping away when inspiration hit, which was pretty often. I'm Jefferson Graham. You've been listening to the Photo Walk TV companion audio podcast. Please check out the show on YouTube, youtube.com/PhotoWalksTV. Look for me on Twitter or Instagram where I'm at Jefferson Graham. And thank you, everyone. I'll see you on the next Photo Walk.